3:40, and I have a special guest in studio with me. Her name is Nancy Cole Silverman. Nancy, hi there.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Nancy has, she's a writer, and she has written some pretty fascinating tales, mysteries, which I have to say, if I were to pick anything, probably my favorite genre. But there's something special about these, at least to me, because Nancy has a background over 25 years in radio. And so I'm all about this. Nancy, tell me how. First of all, you've been all over town. You were you were down in Los Angeles.
I was in Los Angeles. I was in talk radio for 25 years. I started my career at KNX. I was at KNX for many, many years. KFWB, KABC. I was general manager of Sporting News Radio, KMPC Sporting News Radio, which is proof, Tori, that God has a sense of humor.
Exactly. Now, so you brought all of this radio experience, and when I say all this radio experience, over 25 years in the business, and you decided to do something with that, and you became a writer. So build the bridge for me.
Well, you know, in my last position I had was general manager of KMPC Sporting News Radio, and the station sold, and I thought, well, it sold to a Korean format, and I thought, well, I can't work here. What am I going to do? And I thought, well, you know, I've got a wealth of experience. I had these years in radio, and I thought, what if I reinvented myself as a writer? You know, you can take the girl out of radio, but you can't take the radio out of the girl.
Absolutely.
So I thought I would create a series called the Carol Childs Mysteries. And Carol Childs is a woman who, at kind of midpoint in her career, has given the opportunity to jump the wall. And you and I both know that means you can go from one side, the talent side, or to the business side. And in her case, it's the business side of the talent side. Mm-hmm. And she is very anxious to be a reporter. But, of course, there's always some nemesis that's going to block her. And her first nemesis she meets is her news director, who's a 98-pound 5'1" whiz kid who refers to her as the world's oldest cub reporter. So we've got some conflict from the get-go there.
These sound amazing. This is now you brought in 3 books for me to read, and I can't wait. The first one being, I hope I have these in order. The first one being Shadow of Doubt.
Right.
Am I right? And these are the order. Beyond a Doubt is next. And then Without a Doubt.
Without a doubt. A lot of doubt in my life here.
So is this considered a trilogy, or are they all separate?
You know, they are part of a series. Each one could be a standalone. And they are really ripped from the headlines, stories and things that have happened in L.A. and things that I actually saw.
Like a Law and Order type
a little bit
thing going on
yes, because one of the neat things, and the reason I thought radio is so ripe for mystery is because, and as you know, people will listen to your show and they'll call you in and they'll tell you things and they become fans. They feel like they know you. But they don't really know what you look like.
Oh, no.
So they will call you in and they'll say, well, I won't tell the cops this, but I'll tell you. And if you're working on a story, it gives you kind of a leg up, if you will, to go investigate because people don't know what you look like. So this was a natural for a good mystery series, and it was really a great place to take off from.
Now, Carol Childs is the main character.
Yes.
She's in all of these books.
She is.
Okay. And so how does it start, without giving away, because I really am interested. Hold up these. I know you can't, the listeners can't see, but if you tune in to KHTS on YouTube and subscribe to our channel, you'll be able to see the covers, and the covers are I think a cover is very important.
I have to say I'm very pleased with my cover designer. Henry Press, who is my publisher, did a wonderful job. In book 1, Shadow of Doubt starts off with an agent who is coming home from a Hollywood award show and is murdered. And it begins from there. And the critics have said, forget the scene in Psycho, you'll never take a bath again. And Tori, I've just given you a little sachet of lavender.
Yes, it smells fantastic.
Don't use it in the tub.
Dun, dun, dun. It smells wonderful, but I have a feeling this is really more like poison.
Not really.
Not this, but in your book.
In the book, definitely in the book.
It is. Got it.
This book 2 was Beyond a Doubt. Beyond a Doubt deals with, one of the neat things about working in L.A. as a background is obviously the industry is such a draw. The lights, the celluloids, the big signs.
Oh yeah, the glitter,
industry,
the
glitter.
Yes.
So there's young girls who are drawn to the city, and sometimes they disappear, and sometimes they're drawn into a trade that we all know goes on backstage, sometimes or in the back black dealings of places. And Carol is called in to investigate and finds herself with a lot of positions that are threatening her career to shut up because she knows too much. And if she doesn't shut up, she too may disappear.
Now, let me ask, what about that news person? Does he, the news person who is the
Our news director?
The news director, does he show up in book 2?
He shows up in each book. So you have think of Murphy Brown, kind of. You have I like to say Murphy Brown meets Stephen King, or Nora Roberts meets Stephen King.
Okay.
Because nothing graphic happens on the page, and just like with radio, there's those 7 deadly words one may not use,
right.
or one's FCC license can be taken.
Exactly.
So they're not used in the book. So in that regard, they're kind of soft-boiled mysteries, but with a lot of humor, and yet with an awareness of some very serious things that do go on in big cities.
Exactly.
So it's been fun to kind of weave patterns through you have arcs. You can go through kind of humor and laugh out loud type of stuff with things like, oh my.
Which is the Murphy Brown side.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, book number 3.
Book number 3, which just came out in May, is Without a Doubt. And of course, every year at Christmas time, it's just got kind of a little Christmassy cover on it. We've got all our award shows that start. And if you go into Hollywood at any time, into any of the big jewelry stores, all the big jewels are in town.
Yes.
And when I was doing some research, I realized that several years ago in Paris, one of the big jewelry stores was robbed, and fortunately not much was taken because at that time a lot of it was here in Hollywood. And it was then I thought, aha, this would be a great source, because if those jewels were here, what if you had an international jewel thief ring which was operating here to get those jewels because they knew they were here?
Fascinating.
What would our artists wear down the runway?
Which is extremely important.
Oh, most of us would rather go nude than without our jewels.
So that's the latest one. Should we read them in order? Can we read them separately if we want to just skip to book number 3? What do you think?
You don't have to read them in order. They are standalones. Although I do think it gives you a sense of understanding of Carol, who is a fun character to write. She's very much a humanist. She's not terribly sure of herself at what she's doing. She's trying to be very careful in her first book, and you see her grow as a character and becoming far more bold in her actions and in her decisions and in her assuredness as we get to book 3.
Now, how much, I'm putting my hands up here, how much is Nancy in Carol?
Oh, I wish I was as bold as Carol was.
Oh, really? A little taste, maybe.
A little taste, yeah. When you're sitting, Monday morning quarterbacking, you can come up with the best phrases. So, I think, if only.
If we want, where can we find the books? You were wonderful enough. You brought me my set of books, which I can't wait, and my lavender poison, which actually smells so good, my sachet. We're just kidding. It's not poison. But where can we find the books? We have Amazon, Barnes & Noble, where we go?
You can find them at any on-air outlet, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can also go into a bookstore and ask for them, and if they're not there, they will order them. I am traditionally published, and they can order them, or you can go to my website to learn more about them. My website is nancycolesilverman.com.
Man, because it's M-A-N.
Right.
We don't want it to. We want to make sure you understand the spelling. Nancy Cole Silverman, thank you so much. Go to the website, go to the bookstores, go to Amazon. I'm going to start reading tonight. They look really delicious. So congratulations on the book. Thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with me. I'm sure they're going to be a huge, especially that last one. I want to read about the jewels.
Thank you.
It's going to be huge. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it.